Words. They don't just communicate thoughts. They reveal the hidden things in our hearts. They don't just communicate ideas. They create worlds. The mouth and the words we say are a creative force that is not only used all the time, but everywhere we go. Our words are the very essence of how the Creator made us. Join us as we discover the essence of man and the power of speech. Hello, welcome to day 39 of the Essence of Man and Power of Speech. And today's going to be probably one of my favorite days because I love talking about Genesis, especially the creation part. And we're going to allude to some of that. But I want to talk about the path one walks, okay? There is a Jewish term. It's a Hebrew word, actually. It's not really a term, but it's a Hebrew word. It's the word ha-halah. It's H-A-L-A-C-H-A, and it can have a H on the end. Either way, it's ha-halah. And what it means is the path one walks, the path that one walks. To the Jew, it's a Jewish life, okay? But to the Christian, there's a path that we walk, okay? Now the question is, what does that path really look like? Well, the Bible says, broad is the path that leads to destruction, narrow is the way that leads to life. And that's righteousness. The Jewish life, you do the good deeds, you do the mitzvahs, you obey the Torah, you're good. To us, to the Christian, Jesus has fulfilled the works, yet we still have to obey commands. I keep going to this verse where it says, if you love me, obey my commandments. Now, Matthew 5 through 7 gives us an idea of a lot of commandments, but notice they're all about love and your mouth. And so the greatest commandments, Jesus says, is to love God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang the law and the prophet. And so from a Jewish perspective, it's wrong to talk about someone who has strayed from the Jewish life or the path that one is to walk. As Christians, I would say it's the same thing because what good does it do to talk about people's shortcomings, straying from the path that one walks? Paul does it in the New Testament, but it was because a certain man was causing a lot of trouble in the church. He was sleeping around with a lot of people and abusing people. And Paul said, kick him out for the destruction of his flesh, that his spirit might be saved in the day of judgment. However, the guy learns his lesson, comes back, and they restore him. But for the most part, if we see our brother sinning, straying from ha-halah, or the path one walks, should walk, the path of righteousness, then we first go to him privately. First thing you do is pray, then you go privately. If he doesn't, then you go before him with another brother. So there's steps instead of just yakking about it, you know. So I want to read you something out of this book, the Shofatayim, and it says, Shimrash Halashon, which is evil speech, is especially crucial to one's spiritual well-being. People who habitually speak Lashon Hora and accept as fact evil talk of others corrupt their power of speech and hearing on this world, and their souls will surely be affected by the parallel way in the next world. So listen to this one more time. They accept, people who habitually speak evil accept as fact the evil talk of others. In other words, you don't know, man, that's going on Facebook and Twitter and social media. There's a lot of posts out there that aren't real, and you have to really do your research. And even in some of your sharing, it is really kind of getting senseless about sharing things, because in some ways that's evil speech, just in another form. And you have to really watch it. There's a lot of things I've typed and said delete. I can't share that. It'd be evil speech, But notice what it says. People who habitually speak Lashon Hora accept evil talk of others, corrupt their powers of speech and hearing. So notice that when you listen to evil speech, it not only corrupts your speech, but it corrupts your hearing. And this will affect the path that you walk. Now, Genesis 2:7 says, God breathed into man the breath of life, and he became a living soul. There is a translation that says that man became a talking spirit. This is the essence of who you are. You're able to talk now. You're able... that's what makes us different than all other creatures, is the fact that we are able to talk freely. Multiple words of understanding. But what I want you to see is that you and I, if we constantly listen to evil talk, which is the essence of other people that habitually listen, and we accept these things as truth, it begins to dull our hearing, it begins to dull our speech, and the next thing you know, we're being affected in the world to come. You remember when Jesus said that people were hard of hearing, hardened hearts and hard of hearing? Do you realize a lot of that is because of evil speech? That's crazy, but it's true. They've gotten so prone to hear the evil, they believe the evil, therefore they can't hear the good. That's what's going on in our world today. You got people won't even hear truth, regardless of the facts that you present. It can be all the data or whatever, they still don't believe in truth. It's affected their hearing. The evil speech has. They've come so accustomed to the lie, it's affecting the path they walk. And this, believe it or not, affects how we love people, how we love God. It affects it all. I want to read you something else out of another book that's kind of interesting. And listen to what it says. Are you immersed in a Lashon Hora environment? So here's the question. Is your workplace, is your home, is your relationships, is your church filled with evil speech? Listen. Rather than accepting a negative atmosphere as normal in the workplace or church or wherever, think about ways to raise awareness and improve the situation. What are we talking about? How are we changing the path that we walk? How are we helping others change the path that they walk? Because whenever you speak evil, you're helping somebody go off the path they should be walking. Listen to this. This is a quote. Sefer Shimmer Halashon Part 2, Chapter 9. I'm just giving you the reference. Listen to what it says. I would advise those seeking to improve their economic situation to take exceeding great care in regard to Lashon Hora. If one respects another person's feelings and possessions, his own possessions shall certainly be blessed more than if he had performed any segula, which means if you want to be blessed, you've got to guard other people's possessions. In other words, treat them with respect. Treat their feelings with respect. Treat their emotions with respect. Treat their property with respect. In so doing, you're treating your own self with respect. And it's the same principle. Whenever we speak evil of people, or whenever we speak Lashon Hora, what we are doing is we're showing we have no regard for the path that others walk, and we have no regard for the path that we are supposed to walk. Therefore, we are destroying paths of righteousness and making broad the way that leads to destruction. Okay? So I challenge you today to literally start thinking about life in the path that one walks, the path that you walk. How are you regarding the feelings of others? How are you regarding, because believe it or not, you can speak evil about somebody, damage their feelings, it can affect their financial status, it can affect their work. I mean, this is how powerful words are. This is the essence of who we are, the ability to speak life or death. I'm not talking about positive confession or negative. I'm not talking about that stuff. No. I'm talking about words of life and death. The words that we speak that either edify or bring destruction. And I'm going to tell you something. It's a much narrower path to speak life. It's a broad path to speak death. But the question is, which path are we walking? The broad or the narrow path? That's the question we got to answer. Walk the narrow path. Be more conscious of the path that you walk today, okay? Hey, have a great day. We'll see you next time on The Essence of Man and the Power of Speech.